You may think you're clever enough to defend yourself against patterns of manipulation, but there are many subtle ways that we're all manipulated every day. Body language is a powerful form of nonverbal communication. It can imply the intentions or desires that people have and can be used without actually speaking. Your passion for something may make you vulnerable to manipulation. Are you aware of how Facebook manipulates your feed? Did you know that Facebook has been known to use persuasive methods to alter how your feed is edited? You will be amazed when you see how people are being manipulated by these 10 ways. Number 10. Body language mimicry. If you've ever found yourself going along with something you didn't quite like, you may have been manipulated by body language. When people copy our body language, we subconsciously identify with them and are more likely to do what they want. To find out if someone is intentionally trying to manipulate you through body language, try changing yours, say crossing your arms, or putting a hand on your hip to see if they mirror you. If so, you might want to use your body language to flip them off or just walk away from the conversation. Chances are they won't copy that. Number 9. Playing to our emotions. Marketers know personal anecdotes work better than the average sales pitch because they're relatable. The more personal the anecdote, the better this works. For example, you may notice someone on social media sharing relatable stories about her weight loss struggles, and you may notice they all end with her joining a pyramid scheme-sounding company that sells a weight loss system, which is apparently the only thing that has ever worked for her. But since you were removed by her super personal story about ripping a pair of 3 extra large pants in a store dressing room, you feel less skeptical and more inclined to believe her claims about the weight loss product. We can also be manipulated by other logical fallacies, like when someone does a favor for you and you feel like you owe them. So the next time you have a chance, you do something nice for them. Then there's this so-called appeal to emotion, whereby if someone tries to do something nice for you, like offering you a free donut, and you say no, they might make you feel badly because there are starving people in the world. Do not let the donut manipulate you into doing them a favor. This is just another example of a logical fallacy, characterized by the manipulation of the recipient's emotions in order to win the argument, especially in the absence of factual evidence. Number 8. Confirmation bias. You may think you're trying to avoid being manipulated when you seek out information about a topic so you can be well informed, but a little thing called confirmation bias gets in your way. This simply means people are more likely to gravitate towards stories, studies, research, results that tell them what they already believe or want to believe. So if you're searching for info about global warming and you believe it's a serious problem, you're more likely to believe articles that agree with this viewpoint. If, on the other hand, you think global warming is just a hoax, you are more likely to click on read and believe articles that agree with this viewpoint. If you want to avoid confirmation bias, make a conscious effort to look critically at pieces of news that seem to confirm your own opinions. Use open-ended searches. What is global warming versus is global warming fake? Look for evidence that you're wrong and carefully consider what evidence is offered to support opinions on both sides of an issue. Number 7. Anchoring. When you think about how you weigh different pieces of information you hear about a topic or issue, you might think you're doing well to consider the credibility of the source. And that's an important aspect of thinking critically. But you should also consider whether you're giving undue influence to the first thing you heard on the subject. This phenomenon, known as anchoring, means we expect information we hear to continue to support the first piece of info we received with no rational reason for doing so. This is often used by salespeople. Say you find a car at the used car lot for $20,000, then negotiate down to $18,000. You may think you got a good deal because the first thing you heard was $20,000 car, and now you're saving $2,000, right? But what if that car only has a blue book value of $17,000? If you want to avoid being dragged down by anchoring, you can check the average price for any item that interests, or look for a better deal online before you go shopping. Number 6. Manipulated by social media. In one Facebook experiment, the social media giant wanted to see if they could manipulate people's moods by skewing the amount of positive and negative news that showed up on their feeds. The study, which was highly criticized for being performed without the user's consent or knowledge, showed people on social media are vulnerable to emotional contagion. The things they liked and posted changed with the amount of positive or negative news in their feed. The social network also shows ads based on your interests, not just on their site, but through your searches on Google and other sites, thanks to cookies. Additionally, Facebook thinks it knows if you're a liberal or conservative based on your browsing patterns and will show you content and ads based on that. If you don't want to be manipulated by social media and other websites you frequent, you can use a block or software and block cookies, or use an incognito browser tab. Number 5. Clickbait and manipulative headlines. Altering the content you see is only one way advertisers and websites manipulate you. Clickbait is everywhere, from social media to legitimate news sites, and even this website. I mean, you saw the thumbnail. If you've ever clicked on an article, hoping to find out what you won't believe about something, only to find yourself on a slow-moving site full of poorly animated ads for mortgage refinancing and mail enhancement bills. You've been a victim of clickbait. You can usually tell when you see headlines that contain the phrases shocking. You won't believe one weird trick to you and what happens next. Typically, the stories are disappointing, requiring you to click through 20 slow loading pages full of ads and are often false. It's all built on our brain's innate failings. The decision to click falls on our psychology. Gene Peggett's, the famous child and development psychologist, refers to what is sometimes called the disequilibrium theory, stating that the human brain hates being unbalanced. It hates being unresolved. That's why titles, like "Why YouTube Deleted My Channel," work so well. You're left in an unresolved state, and that tension can only be resolved by clicking. It's probably the main reason you clicked on this video, but at least I'm fulfilling the title. Hopefully. I'd say stop clicking, but the truth is even I can't stop. I mean, I clicked on this video, even though it's on a channel that's supposedly been deleted. Number 4. Publication bias. This one relates more to the so-called reputable news sources, showing that you really aren't free from manipulation wherever you turn. They are more likely to report on scientific studies if the study shows something positive, surprising, or a correlation that hasn't been seen before. That is, even if the study itself may be flawed too. Often, studies are paid for by companies that hope to sell a product based on the results, like a study that says meat is bad for you being paid for by a vegan company or a meat company sponsoring a study on how meat is really good for you, even if the study isn't conducted to pad a corporation's bottom line. Researchers often omit the results that don't fit with their own confirmation bias. Statistics themselves can be misleading. All they have to do is leave out specific conditional variables. For example, one hospital may appear to have a higher number of patients who survive surgery, but if the other hospital has a much higher number of patients enter the hospital in poor health, their survival rate might actually be higher than that of the first hospitals. If there aren't other studies backing up a claim, you should probably view them with a healthy level of skepticism and read the methodology carefully. Number 3. At the coffee shop or other place you tip. Many coffee shops and restaurants now use iPads or other tablets at the checkout. You can usually still pay cash, but the server will encourage you to use the fast, easy, and so handy self-checkout terminal. Businesses that do this increase both the likelihood that you will tip and the average amount of the tip. For one thing, you're not limited to how much cash you have in your pocket by popping up a big tip box. The point-of-sale terminal also forces you to make a conscious choice to tip or not, so you can't rationalize that you just forgot or didn't have any cash. The terminal offers preset tipping options like $1, $2, or $3, and many people gravitate towards the middle amount. The best tip to avoid this is to tip based on the service, not on the suggested numbers on the screen. Number 2. Gambler's fallacy. When you have a lucky streak, you've probably either expected to continue or conversely expected to end. This is common in casinos and lottery ticket purchases. A gambler thinks if red has hit several times, it will hit next time, or on the other hand, expects black to hit next. The fact is that each roll of the dice pull on the slot machine or lottery drawing has the exact same odds, regardless of what happened the last 3 times. Betting money because of a perceived pattern, which is actually quite random, doesn't increase your odds of winning big. It just increases the amount of money you'll lose if you don't win, and the odds are usually stacked in favor of the house in the first place. Another example from everyday life is umpires, who tend to display this gambler's bias when calling balls or strikes. Number 1. Tapping into our desires. We've all had that feeling when we realize we bought something we didn't really need and maybe didn't even want. Advertisers often tap into our desires for things like friendship, community, love, and success by associating their product with those things. You may want to buy a bottle of perfume you haven't smelled after watching an ad where a famous actress gets out of a limo and waves it or adoring fans. Or you get thirsty seeing an ad for a brand of beer where a bunch of people are laughing, talking, and enjoying each other's company. To avoid this type of manipulation, try to separate your desires for things like friendship and success from the product attributes. After all, you can drink any brand of beer while laughing with your friends, so your purchase decision should be based on which one actually tastes the best for you. What's the most surprising way you've been manipulated? Let us know in the comments below.